Hey guys, Bill Mort here, and with Quorum, we got the slides up now. I think still a couple more people are going to join, but we'll go ahead and start the presentation. Wanted to thank everybody for joining today. Go ahead and turn my camera on here for a second. Don't want to scare anybody that's signed on off, but I think it helps to make a bit of a personal connection since obviously we're unable to meet in person nowadays. As you can see, I'm working from home. I got the quarantine stash in full effect, and we're really excited to meet with you guys today. I'm going to start off, like I said, with just a little bit of a narrative of Quorum, where our technology comes from, how we went to market. Then we'll cover, I think, just 2 slides just to give you a high level of what we do and how we can be deployed. And then we'll spend most of the time actually walking through a live demonstration of our backup and disaster recovery services. It's going to be led by our head of product, Gabriel, who's on the line with us as well. And then we'll finish up with some Q&A and what's next, so where to go from there. Let's see. Let's see. So to start off with, just some high level of about Quorum. It was originally birthed as a product or a project, I should say, for the U.S. Navy. It's all about instant failover, having no downtime to really true mission critical applications. After the completion of that project, the founders of Quorum decided to commercialize the technology, and that's where we found Quorum in the market today. When we took this really powerful high availability engine and started to make it into a UI, really number one thing that we heard from the audience, and that was reaching out to IT professionals, is that ease of use is key. We had a lot of powerful tools available to people, but there's things like certification courses required. It's very cumbersome for people for teams with a single IT contact. It kind of means that person can never go on vacation because it's so complicated, no one else could ever use the system. Right along with ease of use, security is a huge topic, and will remain so, especially with us working from home and continuing to spread our digital environments. There's always more security risk. So Quorum took special thought into how we back up the data and how we protect it when it's at rest. So it's a highly secured product, and we know that a lot of hackers are starting to target backups because they think that's a weak point of entry into a person's environment, and we're going to go ahead and squash that. Finally, there's the completeness of solution. Many of our partners have a plethora of backup and disaster recovery tools that they recommend to their clients. We think that ideally, most of our partners and our end users would only use one solution per set, and we think that Quorum is able to cover most systems and requirements. So again, just simplicity there of people to reach out to, softwares to learn. Other than that, I'd like to kind of go ahead and talk to, what kind of companies, generally speaking, make good clients of Quorum. In general, I would say that financial, legal, healthcare have been really popular clients of Quorum. Additionally, I personally have had a lot of luck with our partners pursuing manufacturers. But anyone could be a potential client of Quorum. We work with municipalities, banks, credit unions, nonprofits. But I have found that teams that have a really low tolerance for data loss and downtime, usually make a great fit for Quorum. Some other parts are, again, Quorum's super easy system to use. That was one of our main points when we commercialized the technology. And as of that, it's a really good fit for small teams as well, maybe a one-man band. And it's because that they can use other non-technical person, maybe the COO, the CEO, to be the backup person, so that the single IT person can go on holiday. Same value points are big for our managed service providers. Again, it's a comprehensive solution, so a lot of times we're able to help our VARs and service providers consolidate solutions. It also allows them to have that backup and disaster recovery revenue, maybe even adding that revenue line onto their card without spending too much time on a daily basis managing the system. We really only want you to have to go into Quorum when there's been some sort of issue, data loss, or a server outage. Then and how hard is this to sell? I think with a lot of the points that I just spoke to, the value to our end user also makes it a really simple product to sell as well. The sales cycle is pretty short, probably around a month or two of active evaluation, procurement, sign-off. I have found, and you all on the call probably have experienced the same, that oftentimes the timing of this is centered around a renewal date. So great to ask, when their current backup system will be up for reevaluation. In addition to that, we have a really strong partnership with Promark. We have great technical resources at Quorum, and that includes on our pre-sale side. So if you, after this call, would like to learn more information just on a one-to-one basis, let us know. I'd be happy to set up a demonstration for your team. Or if you think of a client that needs to see Quorum, please tag us in. More than happy to lend out our resources. And just on that note, I would encourage anyone who would like to be successful implementing Quorum and selling some new projects to really encourage their end users to get on a demo. There's a lot of players in the market, and it can become you can get in the weeds really fast trying to talk through the differences in the solutions. However, again, not to beat a dead horse here, but the ease of use in Quorum is incredible. It really catches people's attention. And so the demo makes a great place to really engage with them as a first point. So I'd really try to get them there, and just showing the speed and ease of use of the solution will be a great friend in selling. So without any further ado, I just kind of gave some warm and fuzzies about Quorum's birth and who can make some good prospects for us, why people might end up selecting Quorum over some of our competitors. Now I'd like to go ahead and take a step back and tag in Gabriel. He's our VP of product, and do some more specific highlighting of what Quorum does, and then actually show it to you.
Hi, everybody. Nice to see you guys all this afternoon or this morning, depending on which coast you're on. So a little bit about how the Quorum product, the OnQ, works. We take your servers, be they at a customer location, data center, even from the public cloud if they're running in Azure or Amazon, and we can back them up to a Quorum, either an appliance or directly to our Quorum cloud. And with that capability, we give you all the abilities to instantly recover that server, of course, all the normal backup, file level, restore, BMR stuff, reportings, archiving, and test solution. And our test solution is actually patented because we give you not only the ability to pull all of your servers up in a test environment and test everything without affecting production, but we also give you the ability to do a self-test that makes sure that Windows is actually running, services are running, and it can communicate on the network with the right IP, so that you have peace of mind that if you bring it up into a production environment, it's going to work for you. In its highest level, simple way to look at it, we take your servers and we back those up to the Quorum device, and we make virtual machines with each server. And then we hold every snapshot that we take as a virtual machine. So even if you were to have an outage, say from ransomware or something, you can instantly roll back to a time before that ransomware and boot that machine. There's no re-recovering or rerunning tapes or rolling it back to that point in time. It will boot that machine from that point in time instantly. And it doesn't matter whether you're running VMware or Hyper-V or a Zen server or a physical server or any other hypervisor out there or in the cloud. We treat all servers the same, and we can back them up and create an instantly rebootable virtual machine from those machines. We also replicate, so you can replicate to another appliance or to the Quorum cloud, and give you that DR full site capability failover, all in a simple combined one-click solution. So that's really how it works in a boring slideshow nutshell. Let me show you firsthand how it really is. So if I go here to my lab environment, you guys can see that I'm backing up 4 machines, but I have 2 OnQs. I have Lab A and I have Lab B, and the Lab A machines are all off, and that's why they're red. But that's also why they float to the top. So if any server has an issue with a backup or a recovery node, it pushes that server to the top of the list, so you always know at a glance what's going on. You never have to search for the card or find out what's going on with your machine. This is that CRM server in Lab C that we're talking about, and you can see it's up and running and doing its thing. What we're going to do today is I'm going to virtually yank the network cable out of that server to simulate it going down, and we're going to bring it up on the OnQ. So I'm going to flip over here and I'm going to deactivate the network cable. Now you can see if I try to do something else here, it's going to try to load, and eventually it's going to fail. If we're watching it from the UI and we're watching this server right here, we're going to see it turn red, and it's going to generate an alert out to my email so that I know that it's gone down and I can react to bring it back up. So in a simple, quick, easy to manage way, we're going to recover that entire server back into production. A couple other little things to point out to you. In our Lab A, I'm only backing up to the local appliance, so I only have 1 circle here for HA. In our Lab C, I have 3 circles because I'm also replicating that to a DR solution. So I have a local HA and a remote DR for that box, and it's all easy to see and manage from this one interface. So you can see we're down now. I'm going to turn on that server. I'm going to start it in production. Now I could also start it in our test environment and do some testing on it, but in this case, since our server's down, I want to recover the most recent snapshot and bring that server back up. So I'm going to click proceed, and it's going to boot that server. That's all it takes. It's really that simple to recover a server right back into production. So while that server starts, I'll show you a couple of other little features of the OnQ to kind of give you some of the bells and whistles. We have a whole analytics portal inside the OnQ, so it does all the reporting, all of the data that you need, and we can filter that on any of the OnQs, any of the things we're backing up. So for right now, we're looking at Lab C, and we'll click on that server and bring up some details about that server. So you can see here, let me scroll down a little bit. Oh, you can see here I have the repo space available. So as I'm taking more backups, my repo availability will work its way down, so I know when I'm getting full. You can see how much OnQ space is available for the overall appliances on the DR side, and all of the details you need. And all this stuff is saying no data to display. It's only because it's my lab environment and it gets shut off to do maintenance on all the time. So I don't have all the details in my analytics portal here because it's the lab, but you can see all the data is here and available. The other things we have are recovery, so you can do file level recovery, and we have 2 types of file level recovery. We have what's called FLR for normal file level recovery, and this is the type you would get from any of your Windows environment backup software. So, you know, I want to go pick this folder, that file, and restore it. But we also have a cool feature called WSR, which is window share recovery. And what we can actually do is create a mountable location. So I'll just click on it and show you where you can actually log in and create a map drive to that location and drag and drop files back into production. So we're going to say the HA device from lab C, and we want to look at CRM C. And you can see it's going to activate. I'm going to create that path. And all I got to do is map a drive, use the username and password it gives me, and I can recover that file back into production. So in a real simple way, and you can see I can copy these, and these are all the details I need to make that connection and recover. All built into the appliance, all easy to use, and I'm managing multiple OnQs, as I said before. So let's flip back over to the dashboard. I'm not quite back up yet. It's still booting, so we'll give it another few minutes here and keep looking at other things. We also have the OnQs tab, so you can see here I have a VLab CDR, a VLab AHA, and a VLab CHA. So these are the local appliances providing high availability, and this is that appliance it's replicating to for DR. So I have 3 OnQ appliances that I'm managing from one interface. And I could have, as you can tell from this, I could have hundreds that I'm managing from a single interface. So for those MSPs that want to manage all of their customer environments from one location, this is easily scalable to meet those needs. And we have features to put in groupings by customer and tagging and all that kind of stuff to make that really easy to manage and architect what you want to look at. We also have the testing environment, so you can see we've built some tags here that were sorted, and we can look at those by tag, or we can look at them by server. So here's that lab CRM server that we've been talking about, and we can go into that server and see all kinds of features about it. See that it's starting on, oh, did I start it on the DR side? Oh no, it hasn't started yet. It's starting on the HA, and we'll be recovering that back into production. So any changes I want to make of starting and stopping nodes, all of that stuff is available, easy to find, easy to access from one interface. Go back up to my dashboard and nodes real quick. Okay, so see how it says it started in production? So now I can go here and I can actually open the RN console, and it'll open here as a tab in the interface. And there it is, that machine is booting up, and all I have to do is click on it once it's started, and my application will be back up and running. So in a matter of a few minutes, and it takes my CRM server a little bit because it's a lab environment, but in a matter of a few minutes, I recover that entire box back into production. One of the features that we're adding, one of the features we've added, but I don't have in my demo kit yet, is instant SQL recovery as well. So this is a new thing that not everybody's doing, but I want to kind of architect it for you verbally so you can get an impact of what this does. So this server right here, I back up every hour. So my point in time, my recovery point is an hour ago. I could lose up to an hour of data. But with SQL Instant Recovery, we're also shipping the SQL transaction logs to the OnQ, and we automatically can replay those into the booted recovery node. So when you bring that recovery node back up into production, even if it's from a snapshot of an hour ago, you get up to the minute recovery for SQL. So you can get all of the data back into your SQL server and recover and only lose a minute's worth of data, which is a pretty powerful impact for an application consistent recovery product. There are other products out there in the environment that do crash consistent recovery, but that's basically the effect of, if I pulled the power plug out of your SQL server and plugged it back in, the chances your SQL is going to come up and perform are pretty low, especially with things like stuff being held in memory. All of that will get flushed, and you'll never get it back. But with SQL transaction recovery and instant recovery, the way we've architected it, we still give you the boot application consistent recovery with all of the bells and whistles of an instant recovery product for SQL. We're really excited about this, and we think it's going to sell a lot. Our first major customer is a company that architects the software for the 911 systems used around the country. And that software is actually going to be backed up and protected by the instant SQL recovery, so that if they need to recover that server back into production, it will replay those 911 logs and get them right back up to the minute recovery. very critical thing for them and very important for us to get out to them. I see that a question's popped up, and I just want to give it a chance to be answered. It says, how would I restore the data to new equipment from the Quorum VM spit up? It's a great question. So we have a real slick way to do this because we're very agnostic to the environment that you're in. What we do with the fail back procedure is we take the server and we would make your VM or your physical server or whatever boot from the CD, and we would recover via a bare metal restore model from that. But the beauty of the way we've set this up is the bare metal restore model can do an incremental recovery. So let's just say you lost the power supply and you wanted to get it back and connected. You can actually bare metal recover that server back into production and then incrementally recover the difference. So your actual downtime is only the time where you're recovering the difference between your last snapshot, which will be a very small amount of data, versus the entire 8 terabytes of a full server. So it looks like our server had some Windows updates running and had to reboot. So we'll give it a second here and we'll reconnect to it.
Yeah, and in addition to that, Gabe, and you guys probably already caught this, but in addition to restoring to dissimilar hardware in the event that you have a server outage, a lot of our clients will also leverage Quorum to do server upgrades or migrations. It provides them protection because we all know that if something's going to go wrong, it's usually when you're moving a server. But it also makes the process as easy as backing it up and then recovering to the new equipment.
So now you can see my server is up because it's done its Windows update and reboot. Here's the error I had from before. And if I just refresh the screen, I will be back up and running and in production. And I'll let that refresh on the screen and show you. And at the same time, I'm going to answer another question from someone else here who asked, is this a hardware appliance, a virtual appliance, or both? That's a great question. It's a hardware appliance if it's something on site, but we also have the capability to go directly to our cloud where you don't need the hardware appliance. So we don't have a virtual appliance, we just have either the hardware appliance or directly to our cloud as options. And then from there, it can do all kinds of stuff. So you can either go from hardware to hardware, hardware to cloud, or cloud to cloud. So there's lots of options there. You can see in that few minutes that it took for us to boot and obviously run Windows updates, we've recovered this server right back into production. So we're back up, we're running. We know that we're running, and you can see that's turned blue. We're all set to go. Is there any other questions that you guys are having? Anything else I can talk to you about? I mean, we really try to make the product that simple, and if Windows updates hadn't slowed me down, we would have probably booted in about 2 minutes. But I'm happy to answer any other questions you have, or direct you into any ways or any other future conversations you might want to have. One of the other common questions that we get is how hard is it to manage and to maintain? And as you can see from the red light, green light interface that we have, it's really easy to manage and monitor what's going on in the environment. We send out daily reports and alerts for anything that happens so that you're always up to speed on what's going on. It's very easy to expand the box as you grow. So if you needed to add more storage to the device later on, it's a very easy process for us. We can expand either by adding drives or JBODs. Another question that came in, really good question, is our licensing. So our licensing is a service model. We have a model set up for every server that we're protecting is a price, and then for every instantly recoverable server is a different price. And then the hardware is priced as the hardware. We pass that straight through, so we don't really make a margin on the hardware. We show you exactly what you're paying for the appliance. So it's really set up to be a service reoccurring annual revenue stream model, even though it's a hardware appliance. And then, archiving and long-term storage. Sure, let's talk about that. So in here, we have the ability to archive as much as we want. And the way we do it, it's pretty straightforward. You would configure and you would add a job, And what it does is it basically takes the snapshots that we've protected from that day and freezes and holds them so that they can be held for as long as you need them. So if you're taking hourly snapshots for 30 days, and on the first of every month you want to back that up and hold it for a year, we don't have to take a separate backup. We just freeze that snapshot from the first and hold it for your year's time frame, or indefinitely if you choose. So it's a lot of flexibility in our archive module, which is a separate service license for that. And then another question that came in is, does it support Citrix? 100% we support Citrix. Actually, the hypervisor that Quorum uses on its appliance is a Citrix hypervisor. So happy to support Citrix, live in that environment. These are good questions. If anyone else has some, keep them coming in. This is great. So did I answer the licensing question? The licensing is we price for the servers we're protecting, we price for the cloud, and we price for the hardware. That's really the three buckets that it goes in, and we keep it very straightforward. We also have what we call our cloud-to-cloud solution. So if you have Google Suite or Office 365, Dropbox, or Box.net, even Salesforce, we can also back those up, and we keep all of those backups indefinitely. So you can back up and hold that data as long as you want, or delete it at your leisure. We don't charge you for the extra ability to hold it forever. So we also have cloud-to-cloud archiving capabilities for all of your cloud service platforms that you have. So lots of functionality in the Quorum product, be it our server recovery, our cloud-to-cloud recovery, whether it's appliance or cloud, direct to cloud, whether you're just doing a backup of a server or you want it to be instantly recoverable. We also have capabilities to do item level restore for Exchange, SQL, and SharePoint. If they have local SQL and Exchange servers, they can do item level recovery for those as well.
Gavin, it looks like you had your hand raised. Did we get your question, sir?
The capacities. I was just getting there. That's a great question. So our capacities go all the way from a very small, in a single OnQ platform, our capacities go from a small 5 terabyte, and I even have a 1 terabyte box for a specific customer. So I'm flexible if you need a smaller model, but from 5 terabyte all the way up to a 100 terabyte 2U appliance. We also have what we call our OnQ Pod, which is an extensible architecture mostly for MSPs, where they can have 400 terabyte filer hooked up to separate compute to grow as they need to grow. And that starts at 100 terabytes up to 400 terabytes per filer, but that can obviously scale much farther and deeper. We have in our cloud, we're running multiple petabytes in a single pod environment. So there's lots of flexibility for adding storage to meet really any need enterprise, right down to the local pharmacy. So a lot of flexibility. For the cloud to cloud, backup can be pushed to any cloud provider. Actually, all of our cloud to cloud is pushed to AWS. You don't pay extra for that storage. It's just part of the cloud pricing, but all of our cloud to cloud solution is in Amazon. And it's very simple priced. For example, the list price on the Office 365 Enterprise, which means you're getting Office, SharePoint, OneDrive, and Teams all in one bundle. You would do your whole user environment, and it's $30 per user per year. So there's a lot of flexibility there. The archive is not replicated. It's actually set up separately on both the local and the replicated copy. So we don't want to ship extra data across. We just have the ability to archive at both locations, if that makes sense. The HA replicates, or the local replicates to the remote, but the archive can be independently set up to hold data on either or both. So there's lots of flexibility for the archive. Good question, Gavin. So I hope I covered most of the things you guys wanted to hit out of this. As you can tell, the OnQ solution can do just about anything you need. We have lots of flexibility to scale up, scale out, scale down. We work with any platform. We're agnostic to the environment, which is nice because some of our customers really struggle with hey, we're on VMware now, but next year we have a project to go move to Hyper-V because the pricing is so good. That doesn't affect us. In fact, we can actually help with that migration process, but because we can work on both hypervisors, we don't have to be changed to make that happen. So that's a very appealing piece for a lot of customers that are doing upgrades in any situation. Our backups can be as frequent as every 15 minutes to answer that backup speed question. So we can back up as frequent as every 15 minutes, but if it's a very busy server, we typically see 30 minutes to an hour for those type of backups on a recurring basis as the cycle. And then international support available. Absolutely, international support is available. We have worldwide operations. We have customers and resellers really in every corner of the world. Australia, Korea, UAE, UK, you name it, we got it. So they're everywhere. Good question. Also, to dial in on the international support, just so we're clear, our support desk is 24/7. Most of our support staff is here in the US. I do have one engineer in the UK, but he is a Quorum employee. It's not an outsourced resource. And all of our support staff is 24/7. So everything's in English, but we can support anyone in the country if they can speak English to us. Or anyone in the world, I guess, if they can speak English to us. Good questions. Anybody else have any questions or anything they want to discuss? We'll kind of bring us back to the front dashboard so you can kind of get that image in your head.
Yeah, I would just like to add that as a sales guy, the support's one of the top things I talk about. Our engineers are really capable. They're very responsive, which it should be a given, but apparently it's kind of a unique for some vendors. I also feel that they, as Gabe said, they're available in a 911 emergency if anyone wants help in a disaster scenario. And I've also known them on more than one occasion to help troubleshooting an environment and go above the call of duty. So great to work with our support team, and a reason why our customers renew in the 90% range.
Yeah, and to give you a little feedback on that, the most of our support engineers actually either came from one of two environments. They either were in an MSP that I worked with previously, where we worked specifically with community banks. So they come with a knowledge of how to be secure and how to support customers securely and effectively. They understand compliance and they understand how to engage. Plus, they're very, very good IT folks in their own right. And many of the occasions that we see when we're helping customers with disaster issues is we're actually helping them, while we've already fixed the RN or the recovery server and got it up and running, we're helping them fix their production environment many times as well. So our team is fully capable to handle just about anything you throw at them across the board.
Yeah, that just made me think of another point. In the event of a disaster, say you need to fail over to the local appliance or you need to fail over to Quorum's cloud. In either event, there's no additional charges. We don't believe that's fair to have to pay extra for the service that you signed up for. And furthermore to that point, if there was a real site outage, like a fire or flood, and it was unsafe to return to the normal production environment, your clients can fail over to Quorum's cloud for an undefined period of time. And again, that's at no additional charge. And I think that's a real unique in the world.
So, and to kind of sum everything up, Quorum from its roots, I've been with Quorum for 10 years, right from when we started. We've been a disaster recovery product. We don't try to be something we're not. Our whole goal is to help people that have a disaster recover quickly and seamlessly. And everything we do is with that focus in mind. How we build our appliances. Our appliances range from a single 8-core processor to dual 12-core processors, or if you're going into our pods, you have multiple blades and all kinds of things. But we can add memory and RAM. We size everything to last for 3 years of growth. So all of our appliances are sized that way because we don't want to force our customers to switch to bigger boxes every year or jump through hoops in order to meet their needs of their IT. We understand that backup is a secondary precaution for most of our customers, and so we take great pride and stress that we want to make that experience as easy and seamless as possible.
Hey,
Bill,
Gabe, there's a question. Gabe, there's a question on implementation and onboarding of new clients. Could you just talk to
sure.
that for a bit?
Yeah, sorry, it wasn't in my screen didn't scroll down. Yeah. So our quick start process is what we call it. Once the appliance arrives on site, well, actually, even before the appliance arrives on site, we try to get the IPs that you're going to be assigning to that appliance ahead of time and actually pre-populate them so that it's literally a put it in the rack, plug it in, and turn it on scenario. We make the process as seamless and easy as possible all the way through the quick start. We help you enroll the first 3 nodes, help you get everything up and running. Then if you're seeding to our cloud, we send a seed box with it, because while the internet has really high bandwidth, nothing can beat the unlimited bandwidth of a FedEx. So we typically send a seed box out for those type of things. Get it into our cloud, seed it, and then we do some DR testing with you, make sure the recovery nodes are working, make sure that everything is set up, your VPNs are all as you would want them and need them, and then send you off to, we then hand off to support. So it's usually about 4 sessions that we have remote with you, talking you through different steps or doing them ourselves for you many times to get everything set up and configured and make sure that the customer is comfortable and happy to use the product. So we try to keep onboarding as seamless and easy as humanly possible. Where we run into most of our struggle, to be quite fair and honest, is many times we find ourselves in an environment where the IT person doesn't have access to all their servers. And so most of our struggles are getting onto boxes so that we can install and go, or get access to boxes, I should say. So that's really our biggest issue that we have doing installs, which for the most part is pretty easy to overcome. Any other questions that came in? Nope, doesn't look like it.
That's all I see.
So I'll hand it back to you, Bill.
Thanks, Gabe. I really appreciate you with giving the really thorough demonstration and also answering the questions as well. I just want to leave the guys with a domain to visit if you have any follow-up questions. Gabe, if you go to the slide real quick, this is a link. Everyone on the line probably knows who their ProMark rep is, but just in case you don't, here's a link to find out who you should reach out to. If you would like a demonstration just to you to ask some one-on-one questions and learn more about the product so you feel more comfortable to go out and engage with clients, let your rep know. I work with them all, and they'll be able to let me know, and we can set up a meeting. Furthermore to that, if you find an opportunity, want to register something, want to schedule a demonstration for an end user, anything of that nature, just let your rep know and be happy to work with you. As Gabe said, it's a really comprehensive solution. I think we can help with everything minus maybe teaching your son or daughter algebra, which I know would probably be useful in today's time. But seriously, thanks everyone for joining. I really appreciate your time, and I look forward to talking with you soon.
And sorry, Bill, just to add one more real quick thing. If you have an environment where you don't know if Quorum's the right fit, we're happy to build the custom solution to meet that environment. We do it all the time. We really stress that we want to fit in their environment, not make them fit in ours. So if you have that one that you're struggling with and you want us to just talk to us about it, we're happy to do that as well.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, ProMark. Thanks, Ingram Micro, for setting this up. And thanks, Gabriel, for leading us through the presentation.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good day.
Cheers. Bye-bye.